What's going on, everybody? My name is Tech, and if it's your first time to the channel, I was the #1 seller of pre-owned men's clothing on eBay. But today we are in New York City. On Thursday I come with the quick hitter. On Monday we do the flea market world domination. On Wednesday I do the live open Q&A, answer hundreds of questions all in one go. You have to go to the live tab to see that one. It's a bit sneaky. On Friday, we do the podcast. It's a little bit longer form, sometimes with a guest, but always helpful information. But today is Thursday, the quick hitter. So we're in New York City. We're going to be here for a couple of weeks. And we just went to one market over there in Chelsea, which was about 20-something blocks from our hotel. We're on 44th. And after that, we are walking currently to Brooklyn. And if you are not familiar with the layout, this is about a 2-hour walk there and a 2-hour walk back. Sure, we could drive the subway. Sure, we could take a taxi. But you don't get to see the city that way. So we're walking, we're on foot. We're not very familiar with the area, but we'll figure it out. And when Arwen came to visit, he asked 1,001 questions. He was here for 2 weeks. He asked everything about reselling, everything about business. And towards the end of the trip, my answers were, you'll figure it out. And that's what we're doing right now. We're gonna figure it out. And no matter where we have to go, no matter what we have to do, you see on the channel, I walk the walk and I talk the talk. We go 4 hours away to the flea market for the good ones, 6 hours away to the flea market for the good ones, an hour is the closest flea market to the house for the good ones, and we go wherever we have to go, do whatever we have to do, on a quest, on a mission, for only the good ones. Doesn't matter if we're in Florida, California, New York, New Jersey, Georgia, doesn't matter. We will go wherever we have to go, boots on the ground, for the good ones. So I was able to develop my business 120 items per day by going to 55 thrift stores per week and 3 days a week at the flea market. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. At the flea market, woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. 55 stores per week was about, 60 or 65 hours a week sourcing. And if the closest Goodwill to my house was able to satisfy all of my needs for the business, then I would just go there. But unfortunately, I had to go hours away, work my way back, had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, do that, then do a thrift route, and then come home. And if I came on here on the YouTube machine and said, hey, disregard where the best items are, don't go there. Only go to the most convenient, closest place to your house. That would be foolish to say. It would be foolish to say, don't worry about where the best items are. Just go to the closest, most convenient area to your house and only source there. And when it's put into that term, it sounds pretty ridiculous and it sounds a little bit foolish to disregard where the best items are and only go to the most convenient, closest place to your house is. And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people disregard where the best items are and go to the most convenient, distance-wise and time-wise, and that's where they do all of their sourcing. So what they're really doing is being presented with some kind of items that's the most convenient for them, distance-wise and time-wise, and they are not going to where the best items are. And on the channel, I hope you see that I lead by example. A large part of my business comes down to waking up the earliest, going to where the best items are, even if it's the furthest away and not the most convenient, talking to the most amount of people, doing the most laps, and having the most amount of knowledge. None of that is convenient. All of it kind of sucks, to be completely honest with you, but that's what we signed up to do, and that's what we have to do. We all have volunteered to actually do this and sign up to do this. So if you're gonna do this the right way, it takes a little bit of concessions from your side. You gotta be the first one out there. You gotta do the most laps. You gotta give yourself the most amount of knowledge, and you have to give yourself the most amount of opportunities. And for us, we could have went to the little Chelsea market that was 20 blocks from the hotel. We did pick up a couple very good items, one very good one. We got it for 50, sells for about 300, maybe more. Ours is a little bit more ornate and a little bit cooler, so I would price it a little bit higher, and we could have just stopped and went home after that. But we're on our way to Brooklyn, going across the bridge to see what they got over there. And when you are in a different location, strange land that you've never been to, a lot of it is trial and error. A lot of it is going over there and figuring it out. A lot of it is going on Google Maps, typing in flea market, and then looking at the pictures. And if the pictures show you something that looks like an antique mall, or they have a lot of stuff that's as seen on TV, maybe it's not the best place for you. If the pictures show you a lot of stuff thrown on the ground, some pop-up tables, people selling stuff out of their cars, then maybe that's a better place for you. It all depends on what you sell and how you sell. So here in New York City, the inventory is very expensive. However, the brands are very good, very, very high quality brands, a lot of designer stuff. A lot of the vendors know exactly what they have, so the price is up. But every now and then you can catch them slipping, like we've done a couple of months ago when we were up here for about a month, and like we will do when we are here for the next couple of weeks. So while we are here, we're going to explore, we're going to knock on doors, we're going to put boots on the ground, and we're going to go to as many places as we possibly can in an effort to give ourselves the most opportunities. We have already armed ourselves with the most amount of knowledge. I study every single day, scroll souls every single day, look at stuff, observe stuff, get curious about stuff, look up stuff every single day. Now it's time to put our feet on the ground and give ourselves the most amount of opportunities. And a lot of people, they get crippled by, I don't know enough, so maybe it's not time to get out there. Or, this is the Supreme store actually. Supreme store. So if you're familiar with where we are, this is the Supreme store right here. Supreme. Usually there's a line out front on Fridays. That's when they do their release. But very good brand there. I mean, even just walking around here, there's nudie jeans, which is also good. But even just walking around here is like a bolo fest of great brands. So like just coming up here, you learn so much more. You see what people in New York City are wearing, and what they wear usually rolls out to the rest of the country. A lot of trendsetters are over here. A lot of people on the, you know, the peak, the forefront of fashion are up here. But a lot of people get crippled with thinking that they don't have enough knowledge to get out there and go look. And then they start getting this information, and information without execution means absolutely nothing. Just like execution without information means absolutely nothing. So you have to do a little bit of both. You have to learn some stuff, go out and go look. Look up stuff. Don't be afraid to look stuff up. Don't be afraid to touch stuff. Don't be afraid to look at the indicators of value, especially for clothing. What does the tag look like? Where was it made? What is the material? What is the pattern? All of these things can be escalators of value, because you could have a poor brand and maybe it's made of cashmere. Maybe it's made of vicuña. If you don't know vicuña, look it up. Type in vicuña, V-A-C-U-N-A. Very, very, very high quality fabric, and just search high to low. So that one right there is something that you've now learned. You can keep your eye on materials such as vicuña, and when you see it, it doesn't matter what the brand is. If it's vicuña, you pick it up. And all of these little tidbits of information kind of factor stack one on top of another, because if you do have cashmere on a Walmart item, it might not still be desirable enough to pick up and sell. But if you have cashmere now on a Brooks Brothers item, you know, it kind of stacks, because regular Brooks Brother, not as desirable. Or cashmere on a Ralph item, that makes it much more desirable. Or some long Italian name that you never heard of before, also made of cashmere, that can also become desirable. We need to get a lot of information. We need to do a lot of execution. We need to go to places that we've never been before, and we need to be comfortable enough to go out there and fail sometimes. Like, we might walk an hour and a half over here to Brooklyn, and we might find 0 items. For one, it might not be a great market for us. For two, the prices might be sky high because everyone in New York City knows what they have. So like, we might go all the way over here, an hour and a half on foot and an hour and a half back, and find nothing. And I've done a lot of that. Just you guys see on YouTube just the greatest hits. You guys don't see when we go places and there's not really much action there. You guys don't see when we go to a spot and they only have 1 or 2 items. You guys just see the greatest hits, the plays of the week, the top 10, and you see these stacks of clothes of $50 average sale price left, right, and center on every single video. But you don't see waking up at 4 o'clock. You don't see driving hours. You don't see touching millions and millions of pieces of clothing. But that is the nitty gritty. That is the dirty part of it. And if you're not finding the results that you're looking for, go to another store, go a little bit earlier, go an extra mile. Always continue to acquire as much information as you possibly can and start learning. Whenever I name a bolo on the channel, I get inundated with a bunch of DMs about, look what I found, look what I found, look what I found. Kayla did a great call on Friday about baby bolos, like rockers and backpacks and all of these things. The Facebook group has blown up with people all of a sudden finding these items. Did these items just start appearing today? The answer is absolutely not. Those items were always there. We just didn't know about them. Doing a quick pause because they got some stuff over here. And that is the great thing about what we do, is that there is money everywhere. If you saw the last videos that we did in New York, I found a $300 sweater on a street vendor, just like that. There's money everywhere. We have to be open to the opportunities, and we can't be blind to the opportunity that we do have. We always got to be looking. We always got to be on the hunt, and we always have to be learning. And those 3 things right there is what catapulted my business and set it on an entirely different trajectory from where it was when I started always being on the lookout and always looking for an opportunity, like 24 hours a day, always looking for an opportunity to make some money, always acquiring the knowledge, always keeping my eyes open. All of that stuff is so important because the money is everywhere. We live in the most abundant, wasteful country in the world. We live in the most abundant and wasteful times in the entire world. There is stuff everywhere. If you're not finding enough stuff, or you're not finding good enough stuff, it comes down to learning more, putting more miles, and waking up earlier. We're about to cross the Brooklyn Bridge now and go over here to Brooklyn, hit this little pop-up. Hopefully it works out, but if it doesn't, then at least we know. They might not have what we're looking for, or they might know everything. People in New York, they know the prices. But if we don't go, we don't know. Wish us luck. Hope this video was helpful. As always, be great. Thank you.